So everyone, I just thought I could make a quick video on how to assemble the Bangkok frame now that we have the final versions. Sorry it took so long to ship because of the Chinese New Year, everything just got delayed, but we finally have all the parts and they're shipping now. First, I'll just talk about the changes on the final version versus the production version. So you can see on the top here, you can see I added a slot right here for people that wanted to mount the battery like hot dog style, and then I added these little flares to give it a little more strength on the top, and then I added a hole that goes all the way through. So for people that want to add an additional standoff right here to support the top plate. Then on the HD camera plate, I added countersunk holes so it's completely flat now. And then on the front cage, it is just thinned out just a little bit to save some weight. So on the nucleus plate, you can see it is thinned out just a little bit to save some weight, and it still has the butter mounts for the 30x30 and 20x20. Then on the back plate, I did add holes for the 20x20 and a hole right here for people who wanted to add a little standoff or an additional support, but I really don't think it's needed because you see this plate braced on the nucleus plate is it's rock solid. I've been flying with mine without any support and it's been fine. So I did change the shape of the arms because some people didn't like the prototype one with that little sharp thingy right there, because it does kind of get worn out after a while. And then you can see the arms are chamfered now. Alright, so let's get to the assembly of the frame. So this is everything that comes with the Bangkok. I'll just go over the parts list individually. You get 2 M3x25 standoffs, 4 M3x16 button head screws for the flight controller, 10 M3x10 button head screws for the arms and part of the cage, 4 M3x5 button head, 4 M3x5 flathead screws, 6 M3x8, 4 neoprene landing pad stickers, 12 butter mounts, 2 antenna tubes, 2 antenna cap, A side cage and a B side. So there is a difference on the cages. One side is milled out whereas the other one isn't. And it's same on this side. VTX antenna mount, nucleus plate, HD camera plate, sticky pad, sticker, Vtx shelf, the bottom plate, 4.5mm arms. These are the 5-inch, but the 6 and 7-inch will be available after Chinese New Year. Top plate, more stickers, and a Velcro strap. So now we'll talk about how to assemble the Bangkok. First, just get your nucleus plate, and then depending on if you're using a 20x20 or 30x30, you just pinch the little butter mounts and you just put them in whichever flight controller hole you need. Once you have that, set it aside and then just grab your bottom plate. So the bottom plate, there is sort of like a left and a right side, because you can see this little channel thingy is for your battery strap. So depending on what you're using, you might want to have the strap or the cable on the right side or the left side. And this is what it looks like. So I have my battery cable coming on the right side of the quad right here, and then that makes room for my crossfire on the left side. Get your cage plates, and depending if you're using a micro camera, you'll just use the side that's not milled out and put them in the middle. But if you're using a mini camera, you use the side that's milled out and put it in the center. So it'll go like this, and then just grab a M3x5, one of these little button heads, and then just screw it into the front right here. Next, grab your nucleus plate, and it goes over this little slot right here, and then get an M3x10, and it goes down here, and this will hold the nucleus plate in place for when you install your arms. Alright, so next we're going to install the arms. So I just grabbed 4 M3x10s and put them in the center holes, but don't screw it all the way down because then they'll make it really hard for the arms to go in. Just screw it in just a little bit, but don't tighten it. So once you got the 4 screws in, you can start putting in the arms. Just make sure these screws are not too tight, nor these, because if these bottom screws are too tight, it's going to be hard to get the arms in. So on the arms, you can see the holes kind of like point upward, or they like kind of go in the up direction. You don't want it this way because then it'll make your arm kind of like an SX, which you don't want. So just make it like this, slide it into the screw, and then just put in another M3x10 into the arm. And then just do the same for all the other arms. So once you got the screws and all the arms in, you can tighten down these screws. So next we'll install the XT60 holder with the antenna mounts. So just grab a M3x25 standoff and push it all the way in. So just a quick tip on installing the XT60. First, I would put the cable on the holder and then put it through this hole first. And then install it on the frame using M3x8 screws for the standoffs. So once you have the XT60 in, just make sure it's all the way in, and then pull this wire tight, and then put a little zip tie to hold this part of the cable down. What keeps the XT60 in here is this little zip tie that holds the wire, so when you pull the battery out, the XT60 will stay in. And then same thing on this side, just wire it, thread it this way, and then from here you can solder it onto your ESC. And then next we'll install the rear shelf. Just use some M3x5s and screw it right into the nucleus plate. And then from here you can go ahead and put on your top plate using the M3x8 screws. And then lastly, you can install the HD camera plate. So there is like a top side and a bottom side. The side that's closer to the screw hole is the top. So you just put it there, and then you just use these little M3x5 flat heads to secure it down. Alright, so that's pretty much the frame assembled, and then once you're done with your build, you can stick these little neoprene landing gear on the bottom of your arms, and then your antenna tubes, and these are your flight controller screws. Whenever you're ready to build, just push them right into the middle, and then there's your build. So I hope you found this video helpful. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, because pretty soon I'll have a build video coming up on this sucker. This is my 7-inch Bangkok. I'm still playing with the parts, trying to get the best combination. So if you're running a 4S or a 6S 7-inch build, let me know what motors you're running on your build, because I'm having problems trying to find the best combination of motors for 7-inch. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.